Hi, I'm Jim Dunnigan. I'm running for re-election to the Utah House of Representatives. I represent Taylorsville and Kearns at the state capitol from District 39. I love representing our area. And today I'm here to talk with Aimee Winder-Newton. She represents our area in the Salt Lake County Council. Hi, Aimee.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I appreciate your joining me today.
You ran a bill to address Social Security and how that is taxed on the state level. Now, we're one of 13 states that
Yes.
taxes on Social Security. Tell us a little bit more about that. Whoops.
So as we know, seniors, they get to the age and they qualify for their Social Security benefit. And as you said, we're one of not too many states that actually levy an income tax on that Social Security benefit. And many seniors, they don't want to lose any of that to state taxes. They feel like they've already paid state income tax on their earnings, that have generated their contribution to Social Security. So this last session this year, in the 2020 general session, I co-sponsored legislation to end the income tax on Social Security benefits. And it's the right thing to do. The seniors, many of them are on a fixed income, including their Social Security. And so we should not be taxing that as a state. That was the right policy.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was running for governor, I heard that throughout the state, people complaining about that all of the time. Why are we one of the few states that taxes this? So it's an important issue. So thanks for your leadership on that. I want to talk about one other thing. One of the things that I love is I'm involved on the state's Mental Health Crisis Commission. I'm also part of the Salt Lake County Behavioral Health Advisory Committee. And one of the things I love hearing is I'll be in these meetings when we talk about mental health and behavioral health, and they'll talk about Jim Dunnigan, Representative Dunnigan, this and this, and they speak about you in such a positive light because they look at you as an advocate and somebody who understands Medicaid and some of the different programs that we need here in our state to help people. And so I always, will say, yeah, he's my representative. But I want to talk a little bit about some courageous things that you did in 2018 after Medicaid expansion was passed. That passed barely statewide to do full Medicaid expansion. And there were some issues with the initiative that came forward because, when you have special interests that help write in legislation for some of these ballot initiatives, they get to kind of put in whatever they want. And then it's interesting to see the legislature kind of take that and be able to refine it. But I think you made some really impressive and important changes to that. Will you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. And let me just say that I fully support the initiative process. I think it's great for people to get involved, and the referendum process that you helped gather signatures, and I helped facilitate some signatures for that as well. So the initiative is an opportunity, that process for the citizens to weigh in. And they did with Medicaid expansion in 2018. And after that was passed, the governors, and I might say that in the initiative, it included a sales tax increase to pay for it, and to the tune of about $100 million of new taxes a year, but the voters approved it. And so that 100 million was designed to cover the cost of expanding Medicaid to those low income Utahns. After it was passed, the governor's office of management and budget said, yeah, that's going to generate 100 million, but in 2 years it's going to fall short. And we said, well, how can that be? We've got $100 million. And they said, 2 million is going to be about 10 million short. That first year it falls short. And then after that, it's 30, 40, and 60 million a year, which has to come from someplace, education or some other place to cover it. And so as we dug into it, I'm like, how can that be? We have $100 million. And it turns out that folded kind of, and I don't think very many people that voted for the initiative knew about this.
Right.
There was a piece in there that said that medical providers, the hospitals, were to get a guaranteed pay raise every year, and that was going to cost $30 million. So of that 100 million of new tax dollars, 30 million was immediately going to the medical providers, to the hospitals, not to cover any new people, simply to give them a pay raise, and that became state law. I mean, I have to think that many constituents in my district and your district would like us to pass a state law where they got a pay raise every year to the tune of $30 million.
Right.
And so that only left 70 million to pay for Medicaid expansion, and it's inadequate. So I got the stakeholders together, and the stakeholders said, we see that that's not going to work. That's going to blow it up. We probably overreached, and we're supportive if you want to take that out. And so but they said, don't make any other changes too. So it went through the legislative process. I sponsored legislation. We took that $30 million out, and we have full Medicaid expansion today. We have the maximum match that the federal government gives any state. And so we have what people wanted in the initiative, but we have removed that $30 million that we just could not afford.
That's great. Well, thanks so much for being an advocate for all of us and for what you do to fight for us up at the state legislature. You know, Jim, I'm 100% supportive of you, and I hope everyone will reelect Jim Dunnigan for District 39. So thanks.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for joining me. And thank you for representing us so well on the Salt Lake County Council.
Thank you.